Right, guys, let's talk about how to make sure that your business doesn't flop or fail in 2026 and what you can do to turn it around to make 2026 successful. And if your offer has somewhat flopped already or stagnated, how you can get it back on track. Okay. So I work with businesses that are doing anywhere from 3 to 5K a month to 250,000 a month, okay, and anything in between. I'm not qualified how to tell you how to make 1 million a month because I've never been behind the scenes of an operation that does 1 million a month. But I have a feeling that most people that are going to be watching the videos I'm sharing are probably doing anywhere between up to 10K a month, or they're somewhere between 10 and I'm going to say 50K a month. There may be the odd person watching these videos that's probably doing anywhere between 50 and 200K a month, but for the most part, it's solopreneurs, it's coaches, consultants, that are running the entire business themselves, maybe some contractors helping them with things like designs and accounting, but you are coming up with the content, you're the marketer, you're the sales guy. Some of you may be running ads, some of you may not be running ads, but everything I'm going to talk about in this video, I'll mention some paid strategies or what you can do from a paid perspective. For the most part, it's going to be a cost-effective solution to turning an offer around, okay? So I spoke to ChatGPT earlier and said, here's what I want to talk about in a video. It's kindly put me a prompt together or a document together. So we'll just go through this, okay? So when it comes to an author underperforming, typically it's because it's getting lost in it could be that it's just shit. But in most cases, the coaches are pretty good. They can get results. They can get or already have a series of case studies, but the audience that they're talking to is almost falling deaf on. Their offer, their messaging, how compelling it is to their consumers is something that I go over with them with. How compelling it is to their consumer is just not being heard. It's what I consider a take it or leave it offer. Oh yeah, appreciate the call, but yeah, I'll think about this in January 2026. There's no urgency, there's no scarcity, there's no real pain driving them, or at least the coach, the consultant, the closer, the info guy, they've not made the pain apparent. They've not tapped into the pain enough that they need to do something now, or they've not tapped into the desire enough where they need to achieve that goal and they really want to achieve it and they need to take action now, okay? So typically what I find in my own personal opinion is that the messaging is off. How the offer is structured is completely off. For example, an online coach that's selling in today's market, if they were to start out from zero, let's say they've got a mortgage to pay, they've got bills already, and they were just to start up with, say, £150, £200 a month for online coaching service, it's going to take them 20 clients to be at 4K a month. And if they've not already got an audience that's super engaged, that's pretty big, it's going to take them a long time to get 10, 20, 30K revenue, okay? There are coaches making that kind of money now, but it's because they've spent the last 10 to 15 years selling those services, and they started selling those services when they were living at home with mum and dad and had no outgoings or anything. So when you're selling a £200 a month service and you've already got 15 grand coming in, you can afford to sell a £200 service. If you've not got 15 grand a month in recurring revenue coming in because your offer's flopping, it's somewhat stagnated, you need to get as much cash collected up front as possible. So I'll talk to you about how you can actually structure offers to collect more cash up front and incentivize people to work with you, because it's my belief that people shouldn't be paying like £200 a month. I don't value anything of £200. You know, if you ask me to work with you for £200 a month, I may commit to it, but I'm not going to value it as much as if you charge me for £20,000 up front. Again, depending on the offer, maybe I'm not going to pay £20,000 for online coaching. But if it's a make money online offer, for example, someone that's going to do something for me that's going to see a return on the 20,000 that I invested up front, I absolutely would do that. Okay. So first things first, it comes down to communicating the message for who it is that you're trying to speak to. I'm just going to come off this document actually because it's just all over. I may look up parts of it, but when we're trying to get attention online, if you're not getting likes, if you're not getting DMs, if you're not getting story engagements, it's because who you're trying to speak to hasn't been identified. You don't know them well enough. You don't know how to create content that's going to stop them in their tracks, that is going to compel them enough to reach out to you. Right now, it's just blending in with everyone else, okay? You don't know their psychology deep enough to understand their biggest pains, their biggest and greatest desires, and anything in between, okay? You think you know because you think that you could help them get in shape, but getting in shape is no longer enough. And this is kind of why good coaching isn't enough anymore in 2026. I think if you're a good coach, it's just not enough. You have to know how to tell stories. You have to know how to create a compelling offer. You have to know how to actually sell as well. Because people will I've managed sales teams in the online info space, and we do daily trainings in that space every single day with a sales team on objections, whether it's property, fitness, even selling sales to people, recruitment, whatever it may be. You have to do daily sales training because people will just give you objections as to why they can't do it. And it's your job to pat and interrupt them as well, tell them why they can do it and why they need to do it. Because if you've actually got a good service, then, as long as you're not selling shit, then it is your duty and responsibility to help them make an informed decision, because they won't be able to do it alone 99% of the time, especially if you're collecting more cash up front. If you're parting with, let's say, £200 a month, you're probably going to get a lot of yeses for that. Once you've started to get momentum, great. But if you're going to start charging, let's say, 2K up front, you're going to start getting a lot of people who need to think about it, speak to their partner, go to the information in their own time, whatever it may be, and they don't need to do any of that, okay? So we'll talk about how to structure the offer, but in 2026, being a coach is no longer good enough, okay? And we need to really figure out and understand our ideal coaching client's profile, as to what makes them tick. What do they need to see and hear online that's going to actually start getting them to engage in with your content? And you don't necessarily need a big audience for this as well. I've seen people do tens of thousands of pounds per month with anywhere between 3,000 and 4,000 followers, okay? The bigger the audience is, especially if the audience is aligned with who your ICP is, great. No doubt you are going to make significantly more. But if you've got an audience of 3,000 and you're selling a £2,000 program, let's say, you don't need 3,000 people to buy that, because you couldn't even you couldn't deliver the fulfillment on that anyway, okay? You need a handful of people, okay? So step one, think about who it is that you would love to work with. And you've probably heard so many people telling you this stuff online as well. You've probably seen people like Mose, Iman Gaji. You've probably seen business coaches in the fitness space now, because they're more popular than actual fitness coaches themselves as well. And you've probably seen them, you need to get an ICP. I actually hate using words like ICP, okay? Because I think like the online guru space has just been somewhat completely diluted with shit. But before you touch kind of or continue creating any ads, before you start building funnels, before you start creating more content, paying for ads, you need to get specific on who you want to work with. What is it that they really hate about themselves? What's their current situation? What are their biggest frustrations and pains? What's their desired outcome? Okay. What have they already tried that's not worked for them? Why did it not work? Yeah. When it comes to understanding your ICP psychology, this really is your content strategy as well, because once you understand where someone is right now and where they want to be, you can bridge the gap. Your service, you as an individual, you are the gap. Okay. So that's how you then create content. You can't create content that doesn't compel them, that doesn't resonate with them, that doesn't align with them, or that does align with them, that does resonate with them, that does compel them, and that does actually stop them in their tracks and completely pattern interrupt them and the way that they consume socials. You can't do that unless you understand them inside out. And I mean inside out. Like the onboarding process that I have with clients is very, very thorough. It's not like, oh, how old are they? What age are they? We will look at kind of from everything from where they're spending time to where they're spending money, how they're consuming content. We will look at their biggest frustrations, and we'll go, let's say we found 15, we'll shortlist the top 3, and we'll dig deep further into those, and we'll create an entire content strategy around those top 3 to 5 that we've then shortlisted as well, just to give you some insight. But we have to get very clear on who it is that we're trying to speak to. And I've had it recently, where a client of mine was trying to appeal to too many people. He was almost being like, he was trying to market everything to everyone as long as they would sign up and pay, because the offer is somewhat stagnating. that is very dangerous territory. Okay. And if you're not tracking how many leads you're getting each week, how many calls you're getting booked, how many calls are then showing up, how many calls you're then closing, you may think that's okay now, but when the offer does start to flop and stagnate, you'll have no information to go on kind of where the issues have come from. What was it? Was it an offer issue? Is it a sales issue? Is it a content issue? If you're not tracking any of this stuff right now, long term, it's going to be very detrimental for you, which is why I always implement systems into my coaching clients, info clients, businesses. Okay, so identify your ICP. This is one of the biggest reasons that your business will flop in 2026. And if you don't do anything about it, it's only going to get bad to worse, especially as more people do this kind of stuff. Their offer is just going to get more momentum on the flywheel. They're going to start taking up some of your market share. And then you'll be in a position where you'll be either having to work with these coaches or explore other avenues. Okay. Second thing is messaging that kind of causes a pattern into it, which I've just kind of been over, but we want to stop them in their tracks. We want to stop them from scrolling. We want to call them out, and we want to separate you from the noise of all the other online coaches. Now, a lot of people will say, what's your USP? We can create a USP. I think a USP can be can have impact, but it's not like, oh, my USP is 10 years in the space and I care about my clients. It's not that. It needs to align with a specific individual with a specific set of values, beliefs, and goals. Okay. So that is something else that we would then go into. Understand your consumer, create messaging that causes them to stop scrolling, have a pattern interrupt. And from there, we can then start to create what we call a compelling offer. Okay. And if your client doesn't feel any sense of urgency, no scarcity, if they consider it a take it or leave it, as it says here, or I'll start later, it's never going to get the momentum that you want. And there always will be coaches that are doing 10K, 30K, 50K, even over £100,000 per month. And then there's always going to be the coaches that are just at 3 to 5K a month. Maybe they'll fluctuate to 7K, 8K at peak seasons like New Year or after summer or something, okay, or just before summer. But they're always going to kind of be in this peak and trough unless they structure the offer to create it compelling enough, and they actually break down how to retain clients for longer. Because most people that have just a monthly subscription, 90-day minimum commitment, 16 weeks, whatever, it's painful. It doesn't work. That worked when I was coaching in 2013. Okay, it's 2026. That no longer works. I personally like structuring offers with sprints and an upfront cost. Okay, so my dream offer, shall we say, in the fitness space, let's just give it as an example, I would charge someone upfront for 12 to 16 weeks. I'd have phases and I'd make the offer more glamorous, and really I'd simplify it to, hey, look, you're going to do this and you're going to get that. But here's the process that has been proven time and time again and worked over 100 clients now, or worked with over 100 clients now to get results like insert client result, insert client result, insert client result. I'm going to help you go through this exact same process. And by week 12, by week 16, you're going to be X. And for that, I wouldn't be saying it's £200 a month for, 12 weeks. So it's £600 in total, or you can pay £500 now. I'd be pricing based on the value of their pain and desire. So I'd be saying for 12 weeks, it's going to be £2,000-3,000. Okay. And then on the back end, once you've completed that, then I'll have some kind of ongoing lower ticket subscription model. Okay. So I get upfront cash collected, and then on the back end, I get my recurring revenue, because not everyone's going to continue. But for those that do work with you, at least it's been worthwhile. Okay. This is how I like to structure it, because if you get them to pay, remember, they're not paying for PDFs, for plans, they're paying for a result. So provided that you're confident that you can help them, providing that they're your ideal client, they can commit to the guidelines and processes that you know that they need to follow in order to get a result, I would charge them more upfront. It allows me to collect more cash so that I can reinvest that back into the business to grow my audience, create more content, run some ads, etc. And then it also, for them, motivates them to be committed enough to take action. Who do you think is going to be more committed? The guy that pays $2,000 upfront for 12 weeks, or the guy that pays $200? The guy that pays $200 is probably going to be one of those take it or leave it clients, or they may get some results, but they don't really value it, because £200 is accessible to absolutely everyone. Whereas £2,000, not everyone is or may have access to 2,000. And those that do choose to invest 2,000 in their health and their physique, they value it. And also how I would obviously have you sell it is, well, we'll go over sales training on another video, but I would have any of my clients, I would teach them how to sell that it's not actually about the price. This is more so actually about them drawing a line in the sand and making a commitment to themselves. This is about them. It's not about you. Yes, there's a £2,000 investment, but that's really just for your time, your experience, and your expertise that you spent the last decade acquiring. Okay? But this really is about how much they value themselves and how committed to themselves are they. Are they £200 committed or 2,000? Because if they're 200, I don't want you. If you're 2,000, I'm going to get you the best results you've ever fucking seen in your life. Okay? So put in some urgency, some scarcity on the offer. We can look at kind of, it's £2,000, or if you take action right now here on this call, it's 1,800. If you don't, it's 2,000. There's little incentives like that. You can do intake, so you only take on X per month, or you only take on X on X amount on a certain date. That's a really good way to get some urgency as well. In terms of urgency, it can also come from not just by price and dates and launches, but it can also come from the fact that once you've gone through the discovery process on a call, you can say to them, you need to do this. Or you've been umming and ahhing about this for the last 6 years. You've been in and out of good condition, bad condition. These habits are constantly being reversed. You need a solution now that's going to fix this, because you just told me you're feeling shit, you're looking shit, you've got X coming up. What are the other options here? Are you happy staying where you are, fat and overweight? No. Okay, great. Well, we need to get urgency about you taking action, because how you've made decisions so far has got you to where you are, right? Agreed? Okay, great. So would it be fair to say that you need to change how you make decisions in order to get somewhere that you've never been? Yeah, that's fair. Okay, great. Well, let's do this then. I'm going to give you a lot of gems on sales training. I've closed over multiple seven figures between either myself and my own closers for online coaching programs, for online info offers, but I've also managed and led and worked with sales teams as well. So collectively, we're talking millions of pounds in revenue, cash collected and gross revenue by following these strategies. And again, it's not salesy, it's not sleazy. This is you genuinely helping people make informed decisions. Okay, so structure your offer in a way that benefits you from a cash perspective, and work out how you can make it more compelling. Okay, what is going to be very compelling? Is it the fact that it's limited spaces? Is it the fact that it's a specific time frame? There's a system that you follow. It could be phase 1, it's all about kind of performance testing. Phase 2 is a sprint to help you get as much payoff as possible. Phase 3 is a strength program, whatever it may be. I'm relating this to fitness, and I'll probably do another one of these trainings on info soon enough, but fitness is just a very good analogy. Now, here's how we can kind of turn this around. I'm going to talk actually about what actions can you do, because what a lot of people won't tell you is they'll be like, oh, don't do cold DMs, don't do cold outreach, just post content. And like I said at the beginning of this video, if you're making 15-20 grand a month and you're charging people £250 a month, let's say, you can afford to be patient, because every single month you've got 15-20k coming in. And if you make you sign an extra 3 or 4 clients a month, or 1 or 2 clients a week, £250 a month, or a 16-week minimum commitment, those £250 obviously compound. If you're in a position right now where your offer is not performing, you don't have 15-20k a month coming in, and you don't have 15-20k sat in the bank even, you can't afford to be patient. And this is where I like to call what we call the term aggressive patience, because basically you need to be doing every single thing that you can do each and every single day whilst being as patient as possible. That's what aggressive patient is. Right? And this is actually a good analogy here. If the client was to come to a personal trainer and say, hey, I've been doing this a week and I don't think I'm seeing the results that I would want, like the coach would tell them, we're trying to undo years of just you abusing your physique, your body, right? How can you expect results so soon? And it's the same with business. If your offer has not been performing for a while, if it's been on the decline, if it's not resonating with your ICP, if your audience has gone dead on social media, if everything's stagnated across the board, you're in a kind of a place of, let's say, fear and scarcity and urgency, You can't expect results to happen overnight, nor can you expect just to start posting now you've refined who your ICP is. Now you can't just expect to be posting and be like everyone to just jump out and be like, oh, I want to work with you. Yeah. Oh, you was charging £200 a month before. Let me pay you £2,000 up front instead. It's not going to work like that. It will take time. Therefore, we have to go out and get business. And this is so funny because in the coaching space, it's frowned upon that you have to, that you're messaging people that follow you, or you're messaging people that are engaging with your polls or social media posts, etc. Right? It's like, no, just create content, let people come to you, whatever. Like, these people have not worked in sales environments. Like, if you're a sales guy, and that's what everyone watching this video is, to a degree, whether they like it or not, you have to sell yourself. You have to sell your coaching service. You have to market it as well, but you're ultimately selling people why they should work with you, right? And in any sales environment, if you don't pick up the phone, if you don't do your own outreach, if you don't close your own deals and take it upon yourself, you will not have a job, or you don't make any money. So why is it all of a sudden that coaches and people selling info online and stuff just expect people to come to them, and when they don't, it's like, oh, I'm not really getting the attention. That it's like, I've not signed any clients. What have you done to go out to market and sign new clients yourself? Okay. And this isn't a strategy that you will need to apply forever. In most cases, it's a short-term solution whilst your offer is getting momentum. Whilst you've refined your ICP, your offer's more compelling, you've fixed the pricing, anything else that's come up in the audit, you've implemented systems and stuff, if you're obviously working with me, like, whilst we're going through that process of now rebuilding our presence online and aligning ourselves again with those that we want to serve, we're going to have 8 or 10 hours in our day where we're not doing anything, because not everyone's just going to jump up and come out to us. So we need to go out to market. We need to do things that we won't have to do once we've got that momentum. Again, the coach that's making 20k a month and they're relying on Instagram stories. Well, that's great, because you've done it for 10 to 15 years, and that's how you've always sold. So of course you're going to have a massive bias on, just post on the stories and post on your feed 2-3 times a week, and make sure that you're talking about problems that your clients have and whatnot. I get that, but what about if you can't afford to be that patient? They've been doing it 15 years. That's what's worked for them. Of course, they're going to have a bias. It's like in the property education space, if building a portfolio off the back of HMOs, which stands for Housing Multiple Occupants, has been successful for you, of course you're going to preach why people should invest in HMOs. If you've made money in flips, of course you're going to tell people why they should make money in flips. You're always going to have a bias. Their bias should not be yours. Your circumstances are your own. Okay, there'll be some people watching this thinking, well, I don't need to do this, so I can just afford to get a videographer, and I can start afford to pushing content out, and I can start to do free trainings like this to get more attention online. And then there'll be other people watching this thinking, I don't have much money in the bank, I've got bills coming out, and I need to fucking get busy. Okay, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with either of them, but everyone's personal situation and circumstance is completely different. Hence why it can't just be, hey, do this if you're a coach. Okay, that's just cookie cutter. And ironically as well, these fitness business guys are like, you shouldn't do cookie cutter plans, but they do cookie cutter plans with their business anyway. So you can't afford to be patient. So what other platforms can you start posting on? Where are your clients hanging out? Can you get on LinkedIn? Can you get on TikTok? Can you get on Facebook? Can you DM all followers? Can you export any emails that you've hopefully been collecting since starting your coaching service or info products? Can you start emailing 2-3 campaigns a week, enticing people to book a call, educating them, providing value? I'll talk about value like email campaigns on another call. Okay, what more can you do? Who can you call that knows that you're a coach that can give you referrals? Can we send out a referral form to all of the people that we're currently working with to get new business in? There's so much that we can do with your immediate audience to try and win new business, okay? And like I said, you won't have to, or may not have to do this forever, but short term, there is absolutely nothing wrong with you going out to market and securing business for a product that you believe in, okay? So look at what else can you be doing right now. Where are you not posting? What are you not doing? And I would encourage each and every single one of you guys right now to implement some of the strategies that I've just recommended there as well. Okay. Sales conversions, increase conversion, improve deal structure. So concluding this video, really this just is about defining your ICP, okay? Getting a very clear picture as to what their problems are, and I mean a very clear picture. How are you going to help them transition from where they are now to where they want to be? How are you at the bridge between? How can you then create some compelling copy and messaging that aligns and resonates and pattern interrupts everyone that's going to be consuming your content moving forward, okay? How can you then create your offer, and how can you structure it in a way financially that's going to help you get out of the current position that you are, or even just improve the current position that you're in? How can you collect more cash up front? How can you close more deals? If you've not been tracking data, as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, then I'd also be encouraging you to look at what systems you can implement. If you are not tracking or collecting emails, and you're not tracking how many people are booking calls, reaching out, where they're actually coming from, what content is aligning with them, if you're not collecting reviews and referrals within the first 48 hours of them being onboarded, if you're not also tracking, objections as to why they didn't close, if you're not then following up and nurturing with those people and educating them over time, I would encourage you to get these systems implemented as soon as possible, because you need to. You're a one-man band solopreneur. You may even have a small team of 2 to 3, less than 5. And most people, I've seen businesses making £150,000 a month not have these systems implemented. Okay, or they may have 1 or 2 systems implemented, but it's nowhere near what it should have actually been. Okay, so refine your ICP, create some very clear messaging that's going to cause them to basically stop in their tracks and pattern interrupt them. Make your offer more compelling and use copy and creative copy to make sure that it aligns and resonates with step 2 here. Make sure it's structured in a way that benefits you, and it's also going to get you more results as well, because I'm sure the churn rate of most coaches, even people selling some form of kind of info, it doesn't have to be fitness, it can be biz ops, property, it could be fitness business coaching, sales, whatever it may be. On low ticket, the churn is really bad because people have a rush of momentum and then within a week it's gone. Whereas with high ticket, I've found the success to be significantly more. And we'll talk about onboarding processes and how you can keep that momentum going to make sure you get more success from every single person that you close in future videos. Then look at your current situation. Where are you at right now financially? How many leads have you been getting? Kind of objections you've been having. Audit your current position, and from there decide what you need to do. Can you afford to run ads? If you can afford to run some ads, you can do some retargeting ads to get people just visiting your Instagram page. If you're consistently going to be creating organic content, if you're not creating organic content, then can you invest in someone to help you create more organic content? Or if you know how to, start creating it yourself, have someone edit it, you edit it, put it online, whatever it may be. If you've got a budget again, could you get ads running to a VSL page where they can go through an application process to call booked? I think that's more so for the info guys. And I'll probably do another video on that as well. Do you need to get set up on these other profiles like LinkedIn, like TikTok and stuff? Like, what do you need to do right now that is going to change your current circumstances? Because you can't wait. Okay, even if you're doing really well, I would encourage you, do not wait. Do not wait for business to come. Think about how you can get more eyes and ears on your offer, whether you're going out to market organically or whether you're going to start running some ads and using money to work for you more than you work for it now. Okay, and that's pretty much going to conclude today's video, to be honest. In terms of where I fit in, I don't know if I can help you because I've got quite a few people in this community, but I would say if you're selling some form of coaching program, if you're selling some kind of coaching service, or you're selling some form of info product through school, through what, maybe you've even got it hosted in GHL, feel free to kind of book a call under this video. It costs nothing. I'll have a chat with you. I won't close you or kind of make a proposal to you and ask you to commit to anything if I don't think I can help. If I can, I'll tell you exactly what it would look like. If you want to do something, great. If you don't, then absolutely fine as well. Hopefully I'll provide you with enough value in these videos and on the call that you can grow weight and action it yourself, so you are in a position where you're ready to kind of really do something with me. Okay, perfect.